We're celebrating the amazing music of Jerry Cummings. Of course, some Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. We've been talking about his years with Teddy Pendergrass, and of course, singing all these great hits. You know him, Leon Huff and Kenny Gamble and Tom Bell and Sigma Sound Studios. Hold up your book. Jerry's got a book right here. Look at this, From Gold to Glory. That is the name of the website, from goldtoglory.com. You can order the book. And Jerry, tell us about how cathartic it was to kind of put your story down and put it in a book form where you could share it with people.
It was, it took 2 years,
Okay.
to put it all in
Did you
here.
have a co-writer or were you just typing it yourself?
My wife used to be a general secretary,
Okay.
and
She
she's
took the
brilliant.
dictation.
Oh yeah, she's a general secretary. She's brilliant. I mean, she's smart. She's a college school teacher. I mean, she was a college teacher. And so she helped me for 2 years. We went through, she edited, she read, and I would forget things, she would remember them. And in 2 years, I sent it over to Trinity Publishing, which is owned by TBN.
Okay.
And of course, I had some words in here that they wouldn't let me use in the book because they were mostly a Christian publishing company. And so I signed with them for a year, and then I decided to do my own publishing. Kingdom
Okay. So
Come Out.
you revised the book, you put it in with your actual words and
Right.
re-released it, self-published.
I even got my picture in the front. Look at it.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Even
I
got my.
know it. You know, it's not like you got a dirty sailor mouth or anything, but it hurts when people censor your words. It's like, well, hey, that's
But that's what.
that's how it
Yeah.
came. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk like we talk normal. You know,
Yeah.
it's you
I
don't want to
told
bite
it.
your tongue.
Yeah. But see, in the motion picture, we'll be able to say what we want to say.
Absolutely. You
But no,
know, it wasn't all sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but you know, it tended to have some crazy times. We'll put it that way.
oh, we had some times. But from gold to glory, on the website, you can go to the store and you can order it from PayPal or use your credit card. And
Okay.
then a lot of people are using Zelle now at their banks.
Yeah, they got all sorts of ways to handle it now.
Yeah,
Cash
we
app, all that stuff.
got Zelle account 312-522-5535.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we got so many ways. You need to get it, but don't get it from Amazon because I can't sign it if you get it from Amazon.
Okay.
If you get it from
Yeah,
gold to
you definitely want the autograph version. It's going to go up in value. That's going to be a nice keepsake for you.
yeah, I mean, but it's a great reading. When Mark read it, Mark said, look, Mark went on Facebook and he told him, he says it's a great read. He says it's going to be a motion picture in 2025 on AGM, and I
Wow.
I was happy that he loved it too. So we're working out everything now, all the details, getting it
Yeah.
all together, the
Yeah, we
budget, and
can we can only imagine, and great things come to those that wait. So you're going to make sure it's right. Mark Berry, our friend, the acclaimed music and movie maker.
oh,
But
yeah.
Jerry, tell us about going into Sigma Sound, which of course is, the Philly International Studios with Gamble and Huff. Um, it besides working with the greats like them and Tom Bell, Whitehead, McFadden, and all that, it must have been awe-inspiring to look on the walls and see these gold albums by all the artists that had made records there, the history, them, coming up from Motown and creating their own sound and all of that. What was it like working in the studio there?
It was a dream come true. I keep saying that because I remember going in and seeing all the spinner songs, stylistics, the gold albums and things. And I remember as a teenager reading the back of the album cover said Sigma Sound Studios, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 309 Broad Street,
Yeah.
Philadelphia. So now I'm here. So one day I was there and I heard the music to Mighty Love by the Spinners.
Okay.
And I was trying to tell everybody, I said, man, that's Tom Bell up there. You know, they say, oh man, how you know that's Tom Bell? I said, I know the sound. I know the sound. You know, wasn't no lyrics, it's just music. They were cutting the track. I said, that's Tom Bell. So about 3 weeks later, we heard it on the radio, and it was the Spinners. As I told you, that was Tom Bell. You know, and so to hear, because you know, in the studio you can hear sessions outside the studio.
Yeah.
You can hear what's being played outside the studio. You can't go in, but you can hear what's being played. And so I was able to hear tracks being cut on artists, you know, and I knew the sound. I knew who produced it. I knew who arranged it. Bobby Martin. You know, I mean, I knew everybody because I had studied them as a teenager. Bobby Eli. I ended up
Well, that
recording in I ended up recording in Bobby Eli's studio, you know, in
yeah, before
Chesapeake.
the internet and all that, when you would listen to music, a lot of times you would just pour over that album jacket and read the credits and want to know who wrote it and produced it
Yeah,
and where it was
yeah,
recorded and who's in the band. And, we loved it when, the more credits, the better. Who played on the songs, all that. It gave us another appreciation of music. That's what
yeah.
I try and do with these interviews is take us deep inside the music and the artist. So we appreciate the music more next time we hear it.
Oh yeah. So I was able to be in the studios with the people that I read about. You know, I was able to be in the studios with Gamble and Huff and Joe Tarja and Mike Tarja and you know Tom Bell, McFadden and Whitehead. You know, I mean, I was able to be there and as a young man to stand behind them at the board and watch them work. And I said to myself, one day I want to do this. I want to be on the board, you know. I want to do what they're doing, and I end up doing that. You know, I end up being on the board, uh,
Yeah,
cutting
you're
my.
like an apprentice in there learning from the best of them. And, you're going to take your craft and step your game up. Tell us about your other cohorts besides Teddy and Harold, Bernard Wilson and Lawrence Brown. What can you tell us about those gentlemen?
Bernie Wilson was a jet setter. You know, Bernie Wilson, um, great dancer, great dancer, very proper talking guy. You know, he hung out with people like Liza Minnelli.
Okay.
You know, the
Classic
point.
Hollywood.
Yeah, he was a Hollywood swinger for real. You know, he
Wow.
could wear a mink coat in the summertime, a white long mini mink coat in the summertime. You know, and I used to call him Batman because he wore them tight pants and stuff.
Okay.
But he was a character, very nice guy. Now, very nice guy. Was Bernie Wilson. Larry was a great dancer, but he wasn't a great singer. You
Okay.
know, and
But he was already in the group when you joined?
yeah, he was already there, you know, but he, you know, he wasn't a great singer. He was a great dancer, so he made up for his singing through dancing.
Okay. So when you
Uh,
choreographed the group, he was easy to work with.
oh yeah, he was a great dancer. You know, he was a great. I mean, so was Bernie. Bernie was a great dancer.
Okay.
Um, but Larry was quiet. You know, he wasn't a talkative person. Very quiet. He looked like a black Johnny Mathis. You
Ah,
know, and but you know they were you know it was a great group. You know, the voices though ended up being me, Teddy, and Harold. We
okay.
were the voices, and then I ended up being a choreographer. Harold wasn't choreographer. Harold used to be a great dancer, but Harold, you know, he had some problems, you know, with his limbs. You know, you couldn't tell it, but he would skate through a lot of steps. You know, instead of doing the step, he would just skate through it. I call it skating through it. Um, but that group was the best group of the Blue Notes since 1954. See, 1954 Blue Notes didn't have no gold and platinum albums. You
Sure.
know, they had great songs like "If You Love Me," "Let It Happen," "I Don't Care." "If You Love Me," I was listening to that this week. "My Hero," which I did in Carnegie Hall. You know, they did some great songs. They were doo-wop, but they didn't, but when I got in the group, we started doing gold and platinum albums and things, and we started doing stadiums and and the big television shows and Canada. We did Canada,
Yeah.
Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. I fell in love with Vancouver,
Oh
Canada.
yeah, Vancouver's a beautiful city.
Oh man, but my
I used
first
to live right under the Canadian border right there. I was 45 minutes away from going up to Vancouver and seeing beautiful concerts. And I mean, they had skiing and the beach all in one day. It's all right there.
what a beautiful city, man. I bought my first Pentax 35 millimeter camera when I got there.
Oh,
I had to go and take
nice,
some
nice
pictures.
clean air. You got the beautiful trees in the Pacific Northwest, all that greenery.
I want to go back now. I want to go back. I want to go to Vancouver. I told my wife, I said, I got to go to Vancouver. You
It
got to.
is. It is a
And
beautiful
they tell
place.
me it's prettier now.
I call it the Los Angeles and San Francisco of Canada because it's the biggest Western cities. Like in America, it's San Francisco and LA. So it's kind of combined those two cities into
Yeah,
one in Vancouver. They got the film business and TV and everything up
I
there.
love it. I love Canada, period. So
That-
when I found out that Mark was in Toronto, I said, man, I used to stay at the Sheraton downtown in Toronto where we got our first gold album. We had the CBS convention in that Sheraton hotel.
okay.
And Mark said, man, he said, I'm only 5 minutes around the corner. My office is 5 minutes around the corner from the Sheraton. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, we're on our way. I said, we're there. Um,
I know. Isn't it great to go back to cities this many years later and even though things have changed, some things haven't changed. The building is still there. It may be a different name, different owner, a few things changed, but that there's those buildings, parts of the city just never change.
it's the old buildings are still there. They've been there for 200 or 300 years. They're still
Yeah,
there.
just like New York and Philly. You can go there now and
Yeah.
some of those same buildings you worked and stayed at 50 years ago are still standing.
Yeah. I mean, I told my wife, I said, we may move to Canada. We may move to Toronto. I love Toronto. If I hadn't come to Illinois and married my wife, I would have been living in Canada because I love Canada.
We want to encourage everybody to go get that book. Go to the website. It is from goldtoglory.com and pick up that book. It is amazing what
And
our
they get an
friend
autographed copy
get
from
it
me.
signed. Get your signed copy right there.
I
It
put
will
their
be,
name in it, I put your name in it, and
he'll
then
personalize it to you.
yeah,
Order
personally.
it and he'll personalize it right to you.
As a matter of fact, I need to send you one.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
will require that and I will
yeah,
send you my address.
yeah, send me your address so I can mail you a copy and sign it for you.
No doubt.